I don't know where you live. Imagine if I did. Turn around. No, I'm not there. But where I live, the greater Sacramento area, this is a great week for water coolers all across the world. Well, just really in the greater Sacramento area, but also your area if you're encountering the same thing, which is a little bit of upcoming heat. That's right. For the past week, there's been a intermittent rain, right? Like this whole weekend, it was wet. I would say it rained, but it didn't. It said it rained, right? If you read a weather app, if you read it, it would say, "Oh yeah, it rained all weekend." But every time I looked outside, there was no rain. Like I didn't see anything falling. The whole ground was wet, but I didn't see the actual action. It's like I saw all the evidence, but not the actual act, right? It's like if you were to walk into a crime scene and there was just a bunch of dead bodies, but you're like, I never saw how this happened. Like I get, right? Someone must have killed because that's how this happens. That's how you get this result. That's how you get wet streets, right? There's rain, but I didn't see the crime get committed. So the town was painted red. Well, it was painted clear. It was darker because when rain lands on stuff, it gets darker. It really puts a dampen on the mood. That's why they call it that. Because when things get darker, it dampens your mood. That's true, and don't look it up because I give you all your information, and remember that. But it's a great week, like I said, for water coolers everywhere because not only is it now getting warmer, right? It was kind of rainy for the past week. This week, it's starting to heat up. It's supposed to be like 75 to 80 degrees all week for the next like 2 weeks, in fact, which means at work or with people that you like to keep at an arm's distance, you have great material. You can talk about how it's getting hotter. Plus, this Thursday is May. It's the beginning of a month. It is like the perfect combination of small talk, the weather and time flying. Because now, let's say you're at the water cooler, right? You can be like, man, it's really heating up. That's a great one, right? And then you can be like, and can you believe this? Already May. And then you can, even if you're feeling a little spicy, add in a little extra in there and say, yeah, it's the fifth month. I wonder how many people are still keeping up to date on their New Year's resolutions. I know for me personally, I stopped my New Year's resolution on the fifth day of the year. I'm too much. I know. I know. I'm good, aren't I? But this is like the holy grail for people that don't have things to talk about. You got it all. You got the weather and you got time. It's something we all relate to, right? Again, if your area is getting a little hotter, I know when I come into town, that's what people say. This area is getting a little hotter because it's a joke about like I'm attractive. And so people would be like, "Oh, because he's now here, the place is hotter." He's brought up the mean hotness of this location. But it is getting hotter, and that also means that I sleep differently. Really, Garv? What changes? Well, of course, what I'm wearing when I go to sleep. I've been a sweats guy, right? You wear the sweatpants or the very comfortable joggers and then the crew neck sweatshirt. I don't know what the fuck happened to me. I was a big hoodie guy, right? I was buying a fuck ton of hoodies for some reason at the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022, and I really went all out and bought all these graphic hoodies, and I don't wear any of them anymore because I don't know what happened with myself, but later in 2022, every time I would wear a hoodie, for some reason, my like lower neck, upper back area would be sore. I don't know what it was. And so, of course, I couldn't sleep with a hoodie either, because if I sleep on the hoodie a weird way, then I'm just like, my neck is all kinked for the whole day. I used to always wear hoodies to bed. I used to look forward to it. It was one of those simple pleasures of life. But something changed. Yeah. In 2022, when I was like, whatever, how old was I then? I don't know how to do the math for my age. Let's see. If I'm turning 27 this year, who said that? Who said that, by the way? What are we doing? Other people telling jokes? No, it's true. I'm turning 27 this year, and I was born in 98. All right, Unc. Who said that? Stand down, soldier. Or I'm sending reinforcements in. But if I'm turning 27 in 2025, that means in 2022, I had turned 24. I was 23. So between 23 and 24, something happened. I suddenly lost my ability to wear hoodies because I would always get neck pain. And before I used to think, oh, maybe it's like I was wearing this very heavy durable hoodie at the time. So I'm like, maybe it's like weighing on my neck and causing neck pain. But then I was wearing these dry fit hoodies, and I don't know what happened. Yeah, something about there being a mass on the back of my neck upset my body. And so I can't wear hoodies anymore. I got a closet full of goddamn hoodies. I'm a crew neck guy myself now. But also, crew necks are more stylish, right? They kind of dress you up a little bit. Like if you go to a restaurant, you can get away with putting on a crew neck sweatshirt and no one really care if you dress it the right way. But a hood, that's a tough fashion choice to swing, right? Depending on the situation, it's not as versatile. It's versatile in the casual arena of your life, but crew necks span all reaches of life. You know what I'm saying? A crew neck is in every man's accoutrement. It's too big to be an accoutrement, but I wanted an excuse to use that word, so I did it. And I'm willing to live with the ramifications, the rammies. I can't wait to watch the rammies this year. But one thing that's happened when you get older, not older, well, I've been talking about that so long, I got mixed up. But one thing you do when it gets hotter is you have to change how you sleep. So usually I'm a sweatpants crew neck guy with a nice little long sleeve t-shirt underneath, but I transform when it gets hotter outside and I start wearing basketball shorts and the half sleeve, short sleeve shirts. But also the way I lay in bed, the way I lay when it gets hotter outside also changes, and I've been starting to do it. I've been starting to quite literally dip my toe into this different way of sleeping, and that's that you put one leg outside of the comforter. The comforter, it's this nice cold feeling because maybe the AC's on and it somehow absorbed the coldness, and you put your leg on there and it's like, oh, like a perfectly chilled ice pack for just one part of your body. You never do two because you got to keep the monsters out, but one, that's fine. I don't know if you guys feel this way, but this has been a thing I've talked to people about. I like to be under a cover. I don't care if it gets to 114 degrees. I will still have to be under a comforter. I got to be under sheets. And I don't know why that is. I feel very like vulnerable, right? I could be in my own place with behind like three locked doors, right? But still, if I'm just laying on top of my comforter, I'm like, someone's gonna kill me right here. I am naked and everyone's staring at me. So I gotta keep one part of my body at least under the sheets, right? It essentially feels like if you are sleeping on top of a comforter, you gotta have some part of your lower body under it. So if you're sleeping on top, it feels like you're free balling. That's no good. Again, you could be in the confines of your own place, completely isolated from the world. There could be no peeping toms, but still, it feels kind of like vulnerable. And as a man, a 26-year-old man going on 27, I will not be dealing with vulnerabilities, okay? I'll consider it for a few decades, and then in the future when my kids hate me, I'll flirt with the idea of therapy again and then go and be like, really? So these things I've known this whole time, that's the problem? And it's my unwillingness to change that's the real problem? Oh no. Well, that can't be right because I'm right. Are you sure everyone else in my life's not wrong? Can we double check? What have you written in your notes? I see you scribbling in that little notebook. Apparently that's what I'm paying you to do. But what have you written in there? Because I don't think whatever math you did something right. You didn't carry the one, did you? Because I'm the one. And you got to carry me the whole way through and assume that I've never made a mistake. Because I haven't. Sure, if you ask other people, they'd be like, he makes a bunch of mistakes. But what do they know? They make mistakes all the time. How can you believe what they say? You got to talk to me, who's never made a mistake. But yeah, I feel naked when I don't have some part of me under it. And it's got to be comforter. It can't just be like a blanket. It needs to be that heavy presence, you know? There's probably some like biological evolution bullshit that can explain that, but I'm not going to look it up. Heavens no. Why would I do that? God forbid I have an informed take on something. But speaking of being informed and covering yourself, I got a real big brain take. I thought about something this week. I don't know what inspired this thought process, but I started thinking about what if we humans had shells like turtles? I was like, would that be good or bad? Because for turtles, it seems to work out for them. I actually don't know that. It's just they have that going on and they haven't died off, which means they're probably doing a pretty good job of preserving themselves, like it's got to be pretty effective. If you're moving that slowly and all you have to defend yourself is the shell you're wearing and you haven't died off for good, well, that's pretty good. Well, yeah, that you got to deserve some credit for that, right? Even if it's like a thing you're born with. That's what I don't get. Some people, right? I'm tall. I remember when I was a freshman in high school, there was I tried out for the basketball team. I made it. And I remember a guy, I'm not going to call him a friend because he wasn't, but a guy in my Spanish class also tried out for the basketball team. And when the team got announced, right, you got to go to the locker room, see the roster of who made the team. It was 15 of us, right? I think 20 something people tried out. And this gentleman, he did not make it, and I made it. And I remember I saw him in Spanish class, and I don't know what inspired him to say this. I don't think I was ever mean to the gentleman. We don't even really talk. That's the thing. We had no relationship. But I remember he walked by me and he was like, I saw you made the team. I'm like, oh yeah. I'm like, did you make it? He was like, no. But you know you only made it because you're tall, right? He was like, if I was your height, I would have made it. I'm like, yeah, but you didn't. Like, and you're not. So what the fuck was the point of that? I've never understood that. People are like, you know, if LeBron didn't have all that talent and didn't work so hard and he wasn't the best basketball player in the world, he'd be pretty shit. And I think people do that to themselves too. I think some people are like, well, no, I'm just like a smart person. Like these grades should have come natural to me. I'm like, no, don't. Yeah, you are smart, but some people aren't. So don't like discredit yourself. Give yourself the credit you deserve. Sure, did you get lucky in things? Of course. But other people got lucky in other ways. We're all dealt a hand, right? Don't look at the cards you're dealt and then be like, oh, well, no, because I was dealt those, I don't deserve to win. You do. It'd actually be fucked up if you didn't win. If you have all your cards and then you didn't go on to succeed, what the fuck? Now you look like a real dumbass. Use the cards you were given and succeed. Do really well. Because if you were given all those cards and you didn't succeed, right? If I didn't make the basketball team and I was what the fuck was I doing? That would be more embarrassing than what this fuckface said to me at the end of Spanish 1. When we just got done telling each other, yo hablo to each other, you know? So yeah, if you have some God-given thing, use it. Because what are you saving it for? It's almost like when you find diamonds in Minecraft and you just hoard them, use those shits. There's no point in saving them. Use them up. Because in a few weeks, when you forget about that Minecraft server and you move on to do something potentially productive in your real life, you'll forget all about them. They'll sit in a wooden chest somewhere and you'll never use them. So use them while you got them. Because what? What are you waiting for? To use what you've been given. Use it now. Wait, this is an addiction meeting? I'm sorry. Fuck. Wrong audience. My bad. I did not read the room. Shoot. That sign outside, I don't really look at signs. I was looking for the illiterate convention. That was kind of my people, but none of the signs made sense out there. I don't know. You guys got to talk to the organizers. I couldn't read any of those. You know what? Now they said it out loud, I realize what the problem is. Damn it. It's me again. That therapist was right. But if we had shells like turtles, I could see it going either way, right? It could be good, it could be bad. But then I was like, well, what would the benefit of it be, right? When would I use it to my advantage? I was like, oh, it'd be cool to like, if you want to just isolate yourself in public, you could do it. And I'm like, yeah, but when would there be a chance to do that in public? Because when I'm home, that's kind of like me returning to my shell, right? So why would I need a shell out there? Me leaving home means I'm choosing to get out of my shell. So I shouldn't take a shell out there. The shell is the home. And I was like, well, no, there's a potential you could use it, right? When is the time you get bothered? Maybe when you're waiting in line, right? That's when you're stuck. When you're static, that's a good time to hide. Because then people can like talk to you and ask you questions, right? All these people that table outside of stores and places and they're like, do you want to donate $5 to save the environment? I'm like, you want me to save some green? They're like, yeah. I'm like, all right, then let me save my money. Ha, got you. What are you going to do now, huh? You stepped into your own trap, idiot. But those people, they stay in one place. That's where they're wrong, right? You got to go to where people are stayed in one place. And so they could approach you if you're in like an amusement park line. That's a great place to get signatures because no one can move, right? You want to go up there and rattle your insides. And so you have no choice but to stay in this line that, goes serpentines all over the place. It's a great place to get signatures. So I was like, that would be a great place to have a shell, right? If you're waiting in a Disneyland line and you kind of forgot to get your fast pass, I think that'd be a great place to have a shell, because then you don't got to look at anyone and no one has to look at you. Realizing that you're alive is at an all-time high when you're stuck in line, because you're just looking around and then you realize, oh my God, the same way I'm looking at people, people are looking at me. And then that's a weird thing, right? So I think that would be a great time to just get in your shell, because then you kind of just zone the world out. And then I thought about it. I'm like, oh my God, that's just what we do with our phones. Like when we're in line, if we don't want to talk to anyone and don't want anyone to talk to us, we just whip out our phone. We're like, yep, it's getting hotter lately this week. Wow, nice. Because you're on the weather app. I know you are. You don't do anything on that thing. I was like, oh, that's kind of like a lukewarm take, right? What if humans had shells? Oh wait, we already do. It's our cell phones. Whoa, commentary on society. Shut the fuck up. That's not deep. You are imagining humans as turtles. You've lost your qualifications to be a deep person. So yeah, I thought about that. I think it would be like good. It'd be good to have the option, but I don't think it would be worth the cost of always having to carry it around. Because you notice that turtles don't take those things off. They just always have them. So it's like the price they pay, I suppose. It also makes you wonder, if they didn't have a shell all the time, would they have been faster? Like maybe they just slowed. Maybe they were really fast at first, and then they just got naturally lazy over time because they're like, I'm tired of carrying this around. Let's just move slow. Guys, you got to try this out. You know, we always like run everywhere and it's like really exhausting. They're like, yeah, I've been feeling that too. Yeah, just like mosey. Mosey, huh? I'll give that a shot. And what does that look like? Well, it's just like the running we usually do, but it's just like way slower. They're like, huh. It's called mosing. They're like, yeah. How's that different from walking? Nope, see, walking, too extreme as well. That, we're going too hard with that. Mosey. It's a leisurely thing, right? Do it for recreation, except it'll be our whole thing. And you're like, all right, I'll give it a shot. And then, yeah, they tried it out and you're like, oh, this is way better. And then it just became the tradition, right? Turtles were fast once upon a time. Again, don't look this up. Just believe me. Because I know the truth. And it's just they got slower over the time because they were like, this is a lot to carry around. Just like how I've been getting slower as I get older because my ass is getting fatter. Okay. And I gotta tow that lug boat around. That's why I've been getting slower. Am I right? Pretty comes at a price, but one I'm willing to pay. I realize you should never trust a married person, and I believe this very strongly. See, the problem with getting older also is all the people you know have started to get married. And when people are in relationships, that's fine because it's not like a serious thing. But when someone is married, there's no shadow of a doubt, right? That the person that you know, in a relationship will tell the other person everything you guys talk about. So I've stopped. If you are married, I will never trust you. Because I know whatever we talk about, sure, you're my friend. Maybe you were my friend first even before you met that person. But anything I tell you, you're going to relay to them like a fucking shitty game of telephone. And I don't want that. I don't want whoever you decide to go through life with to know anything about me. Okay, I'm your friend, not theirs. Don't tell them about me, okay? You've broken my trust. But that's the thing. I don't think they should stop telling their spouse things about me. I think that's correct. I think if you are married to someone, you should tell them everything, right? So I think it's natural. I'm not saying don't tell your partner anything. Do that. But then don't get mad at me when I shut down. Don't get mad at me when I close shop. Because I know what you're doing. You're peddling my secrets to someone I don't trust. So how can I trust you? You're a friend of my enemy, so you're my enemy. Something like that. I don't know. But yeah, I don't. I'm done. I can't do it. I can't trust married people anymore because I haven't had a bad situation yet, but I can foresee it. Right? I'm not gonna let myself get fucked before I change my ways. I'm gonna take preventative measures. I tell you. Because that's the thing. Yeah, if I was in a relationship, I know some people in relationships, they don't like the other person, which, that's just luck of the draw. Romantic relationships, a requirement is not loving the other person. I've found. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be, but apparently that's the truth. So some people, they won't tell their partner anything, right? They probably trust me more than they trust their partner. But the loving relationships, right? The ones that do it for the love of the game, I can't trust them. If you're a good partner, I can't trust you. Okay? Your partner can. They can trust you with their life. But I've unfortunately taken myself out of the race in terms of trust. So that's the thing. Keep going. Keep telling your partner everything. But then just understand the dynamic between you and I has changed. Because I can't just now tell you anything. The partner that you now have, we used to tell each other everything about them, right? But now that you guys have embarked on this lifelong thing, now you guys are two in a box. You've switched sides. Now I can't trust you. It's a whole thing, you know. So I don't know if you guys have found that either. That's why I like people that hate their spouse, because I'm like, yeah, whatever I tell you, you're not gonna tell them shit. And another reason these people tell, right? I've been giving them credit, being like, yes, they trust their partner, that's why they tell them everything. But a lot of the time, actually, the reason they tell their partner stuff about you is because they're not interesting. Again, I don't say this as a criticism, but I think most people are uninteresting, which is good. We need that, right? All the interesting flavors at Baskin Robbins can only exist as long as they carry vanilla and chocolate. The minute they get rid of those, you can't. You got to close down the shop. That's what brings people in. I think Baskin Robbins, if you ask them, I bet their most sold flavor is still vanilla. How's that possible? They have 31 insane flavors. Well, 29, I guess, if you go with what I just said. But you need the boring ones for the other ones to have business, to have success. So to make life interesting, you need boring people. But unfortunately, that comes with risk. You see, boring people don't have anything to talk about. They don't take anything in, right? They're not consuming media, not consuming culture. So what they do is they just learn information about other people and they give it to you and be like, here's my value as a sociable human being. And I'm like, I don't want that. Go read a book and tell me about it. All right? I don't want to know about your friend's friend who did a thing. Shut the fuck up. Okay? But that's unfortunately what you run into. Is that some people, yes, you can't blame them. It's just the way they are. Again, it's God's gift to them. They were given this and they're using it very liberally, it seems, though. They're not taking any effort to be interesting. And so they just take stories from other people in their life and they're like, I'm going to use this. And so if you hang out with this friend, they go back to their partner and their partner's like, oh, how was it? What'd you guys do? They don't know how to tell an interesting story, so they're just going to tell them all your stories that you told them. Oh, well, it was fun. We had a good time. You'll never guess what happened in Gauruv's life. Stop that. Don't tell them anything. What the fuck? They weren't there. Hey, if I wanted them to hear my stories, I would have invited them to the hangout too. So close the trap, bud. Don't say that shit. And so that's why I do it myself. I don't let them be a filter. I be my own filter. I'm like, I'm just, you've lost your privileges. I'm not going to tell you anything then. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. And have you ever seen that? Yeah, there are some people where I'm like, I get exhausted sometimes because they just talk about other people, not like things. They talk about people. I'm like, I don't want to hear that. That's not interesting. You'll never guess what unless your friend like did something insane. That's like cool, but I fucking gossip. I hate gossip. Don't tell me about your thing. I don't care how juicy. Shut the fuck. I don't know them. I have no skin in the game. Move on. I don't want to know. So that's why I can't trust married people. Uninteresting married people. And unfortunately, people getting married my age right now are typically uninteresting. That's why they're getting married because they have nothing else to do. If you have true hobbies right now, you don't have the time to get married. All right. But it's the people that are getting married. They're like, I guess we got some free time. We could do this year, right? Invite the friends and family over. Yeah. And then they do that whole shindig and they're like, what do we do now? They're like, I don't know. You want to have a kid? They're like, do you think we'd be good parents? They're like, why does that matter? You're like, all right, let's do it. Yeah, no, actually, yeah, you don't got to apply to be a parent or anything. We can just like fuck. And then, yeah. We'll have a kid maybe, huh? That's nice. You got to apply. I think if you're going around advertising to your friends and family, hey, we're trying for a kid, we should be able to challenge it. We should be able to be like, did you apply though? They're like, what do you mean? No, you got to go. There's a department. Don't make it part of the government because they'll be weird about it, but make a separate private department where you got to apply to be a parent. I'm kidding. I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea and think I'm fucking crazy. I don't believe that should really happen. But in a jokey way, that should for sure happen. Because I think too many people are just getting into parenthood when they should have never made it through the application process. There's no prestige to being a parent. But then all these parents that become parents walk around with this like high honor, right? You know, people get into these great universities, Harvard, Stanford. They walk around with that crew neck sweatshirt with the emblem right across from it. Well, you got these fucking parents walking around with drool stained crew necks. They got their own, merch. Walking around being like, oh my God, it is so hard being a parent. You have no idea. But I know everything about being a parent now because I have a kid. I'm like, well, just because you have a kid doesn't mean you're a great parent. And watch, when that kid starts talking, they'll agree with me. They just can't do it yet. Also, there's not much going on in their head. Like if one look in their eyes, I've seen some kids where you look at their eyes and you're like, there's nothing going on back there. Like you ever turn your TV on when you were younger? Not today because everything's streaming. But when you were younger, you ever turn to a channel and it's just static? Sometimes I look at a kid, I look in their eyes and I'm like, yeah, just, you know? I'm like, hey, got anything in there? But yeah, I think some people walk around with the honor of being a parent. And I'm like, yeah, but you didn't. There was no qualification to get in. The acceptance rate is 100% if you want to. Of course, I'll acknowledge there are like health complications people can have and prevents them from being a parent. Totally get that. But, you know, being a parent, you didn't study for that. Some people, yeah, they do it by accident. So I don't get why they walk around with this high honor. And that's why, again, you can't trust those people, okay? Parents and married people, I don't trust them. And I don't trust single people either. Because why does no one love you? See, the problem is I just don't trust anyone. Another thought I had earlier this week was, watching a YouTube video, that's fun, right? Like you've had a good time this whole time. Rhetorical, don't answer. It wasn't a question. But I'm speaking for you on your behalf. But one of the best parts about watching a YouTube video isn't really even the video. It's like reading the comments also. I was like, yeah, but you need the video to have the comments. I was like, oh, so the comments are like the sauce. Like the video, sure, you can eat the chicken sandwich by itself. But if you get that buffalo sauce, that barbecue sauce, that buttermilk ranch, ooh, it just like ups the sandwich so much more. And I feel like that's what comments do. Like a video will be great, awesome. But while I'm watching a video, I like to have a little bit of sauce at the same time, and I'll read the comments, and it makes the whole experience much more enjoyable to me. So I realize, oh yeah, that's why I like reading comments. It's like the sauce to the video. And to give other people that same sensation, that same exhilarating experience, make sure you leave a comment on this episode. Because, sure, this was an amazing theatrical performance, right? Like people listen to these podcasts and they're like, wow, my worldview is changing. I'm realizing nothing that this guy says is of value, which opens me up to the idea that, oh, maybe the things other people are saying are also not of value. Interesting. But if you want other people to get an even heightened experience when they listen to this, even though it's already pretty much up there, the zenith of podcasting, make sure you give them a little bit of sauce, right? Add a little bit of sauce to the video so that when they're listening to me, right, they have me on in the background. They're like, what the fuck is he talking about? They can also be in the comments and be like, oh, these are funny people. Now, these are people that should have a podcast. Not that guy up there. What is he talking about now? Turtle shells on human... I don't know why I do this. Why do I keep listening to this guy? But you do. And I know that because you somehow made it all the way here. And I appreciate that. I appreciate it every single week when you show up, and that's why I show up, because I know that you'll be here waiting for me. So thank you so much. Make sure you leave a comment. Make sure you leave a like. Remember, guys, we have like 40 to 50 weekly listeners on this. We were only getting like 15, 20 likes. Last episode, 23 likes. So keep at it. Keep leaving likes. Also, when the video got around like 20 likes, there was a little spike in the analytics. It suddenly got like shared more places. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, holy shit. Is that because of the likes? So I think you guys did it. So make sure you leave those likes, leave those comments, so that we can also, get more people's opinion. Do you think humans would be better with turtle shells? And also, would we keep calling them turtle shells, or would we rebrand and call them human shells? I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they say downstairs, right? We'll see what the sauce they give us is. I hope it's honey roasted barbecue. Oh, hi. One of my faves. All right. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you next week. Okay?